Okay, so what is the biggest mistake people make in Bitcoin? Well, the title of today's video is Forget the Price, Just Stack Sats. And really there's your answer for you. Most people, they get fixated on the price. And my encouragement to you is that if you really want to benefit from what Bitcoin has to offer over the long term, if you want to compound your wealth and if you want to become self-sovereign, then you have to find a way to quieten the noise and to pay attention to what we often refer to in Bitcoin as signal. Signal. This is the thing that keeps you on track. And so today I want to share with you some key points here today, because I really think that everything going on right now is a distraction, and a lot of people are getting shaken out of their Bitcoin right now. We're seeing this with the transfer of ownership from individuals, people like you and I. There's been a significant shift over the past 12 months where the likes of, Wall Street, BlackRock, Strategy are starting to, swoop up this Bitcoin that's coming onto the market. And the problem I see with that is that people who are giving up their Bitcoin right now because they're paying attention to the fear and greed index, or they're getting distracted, or they're getting nervous, or anything that is coming up emotionally for them, the problem is that I really believe that most of those people are going to wish that they never sold their Bitcoin. And one of the reasons I know this is because over the past 12 months I've conducted hundreds of one-on-one calls on Zoom, coaching calls that people schedule with me. And there are many people I've met who in previous cycles have bought and sold their Bitcoin, because we've seen all this before, all this noise, all this FUD, this fear, uncertainty and doubt. It's a normal part of cycles. It's a state of the world right now. The financial system is in trouble. There's so much debt in the system. Inflation is out of control. There's so much noise out there. As Bitcoiners, we just have to find a way to just put that to the side and just to stay on path. And people I meet who have sold Bitcoin in the past, invariably what I've discovered is that they wish they hadn't have done that. Okay, they essentially regret making that decision. And now they're here and they've done more homework on Bitcoin, and all they're about now is just getting themselves back into a position where they're just stacking sats. And so really my goal for you, or what I'm here to do, is empower you to study Bitcoin. And my mission is to help people, particularly Gen Xers, to build retirement wealth and self-sovereignty with Bitcoin before it's too late, because I really believe that we also have a window of opportunity here that many people are going to miss. And the opportunity to compound your wealth, to build retirement wealth, to build generational wealth that you can pass on to your kids in this transformational monetary system, that opportunity is going to become less and less significant over time. And so those who are paying attention right now to signal, and they're able to just stay disciplined, to stay methodical, to stay on path, they're the ones who are going to be the biggest winners moving forward. So I hope you're in that group. Now, one of the things that I like to do every morning, I don't check my phone. I'm not worried about what the price is today. If you ask me, 6 days out of 7 what the price of Bitcoin is today, I really couldn't tell you. Maybe I might be within 10-15% of the price. I've got a rough idea generally where we are in terms of the general band, but it's not something I pay attention to. What I like to do is to go to the timechaincalendar.com, so the Bitcoin timechaincalendar.com. Google this for yourself, you'll see it right there, and it's just a circular or spherical image that you'll see on your computer screen that really depicts, in summary, everything that is going on under the hood in Bitcoin right now. Yes, it does show the price, but it's just a very small graphic over on the top right. But for the most part, what you see is far more fundamental and important information that is, in my view, far more interesting as well. So just a tip for you, I'd encourage you to look up timechaincalendar.com. Just check in with this every day instead of looking at your portfolio and fussing over whether you're up or you're down, or looking at the Bitcoin price. Look at the fundamentals, because it just helps you to be in the right frame of mind and to realize the power of Bitcoin as a decentralized monetary protocol that is just ticking away, imposing itself on the traditional financial system, which is a very chaotic system that is dying. So much debt in that system. If it was so good, why is the US government 38 trillion in debt? Why has the Australian government just surpassed 1 trillion in debt for the first time? If the dollar system was that good, why are we in so much debt? Bitcoin is here for a reason. It came out on the back of the global financial crisis. It's taken us 17 years to figure out what this is. And right now there is a power struggle going on. Okay, the big end of town wants to acquire and to get ownership of as much Bitcoin as possible out of the hands of individuals, and then they want to sell you derivatives, okay, and financial products on top of the Bitcoin that they own. Okay, so you don't want to play this game. So right now, if you own Bitcoin, your goal should be, number one, to get rid of all the noise, okay, and just make sure you're paying attention to signal only, not the price charts, and that you're just stacking sats. Every month, adding to your bag, methodically, without fuss, without worrying about the price. You're just methodically adding to your stack month after month after month, no matter how small. Now, if you have a situation where you have commissions, or you're selling down real estate or share portfolios, or you're rolling over an industry super fund into an SMSF to buy Bitcoin, if you're doing those kinds of things, then of course you're going to find yourself with significant amounts of capital to deploy into Bitcoin, and at these prices that really is a gift. Okay, now if you already own Bitcoin and you're able to buy Bitcoin in a significant way right now, then of course what you're really doing is you're just lowering your average cost entry point, your dollar cost average entry point, by buying Bitcoin right now whilst it's at a discount, whilst it's on sale. So the Bitcoin time chain calendar is just a really cool little tool for you to tune into on a daily basis. That is signal. It tells you where we are in terms of the block height. Now, right now, as I'm recording this video, the block height is 939,329. What does that mean? What that means is that since January 2009, when the first Bitcoin block was mined, known as the Genesis block, every 10 minutes we've had a block of Bitcoin mined. Regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of the price, regardless of the chaos, regardless of the conflict that's going on right now, every 10 minutes Bitcoin is released to market. Tick-tock, next block. Now right now, in this 4-year cycle that we're in, there's 3.125 Bitcoin that the winning miner who solves the complex algorithmic problem to actually mine that Bitcoin, they receive 3.125 Bitcoin as a block reward. Okay, they also receive the fees for mining the transactions in that block. But the lion's share of what they receive as a reward is this 3.125 Bitcoin. Now 3.125 Bitcoin over the course of 24 hours represents about 450 Bitcoin per day that right now are released to market. Okay, 450 Bitcoin per day. Now you can see all this on the time chain calendar. I'm just giving you a brief summary here. And so 450 Bitcoin per day being released to market in this 4-year cycle. Every 4 years, that issuance of Bitcoin gets cut in half. So in the next 4-year cycle, it'll go from 450 to 225. Okay, then it'll go to 112.50 and so on and so forth every 4 years until we get to all of the Bitcoin, the 21 million, which I believe will be completely released and mined by the year 2140, so over 100 years from now. So that's just a brief summary of what's going on under the hood. Right now we're sitting at just under 20 million Bitcoin already been mined, which represents about 95 or just over 95% of the total 21 million supply. And so we're going to reach an inflection point, a supply crunch in the not too distant future, as corporations, institutions, nation states, governments, insurance companies, you name it, who all want to protect their capital, they're going to want to store it in a finite monetary instrument, a decentralized monetary protocol, which is what Bitcoin is. Add to that global adoption, where people like you and I, and people who, are in the labor force and have businesses, people who are trying to protect themselves from inflation because the cost of living is getting out of control, what are they going to do? They're also going to wake up to this, and they're going to say, I need to store my savings and my capital and my superannuation and my retirement account and my 401k, I need to store that also in an incorruptible form of money. Okay, so as this starts to happen, what do we have? We go from 5% to 10% to 15 to 20, 50% global adoption. And then, of course, because you've got a finite monetary instrument, the only time in history that we've ever had absolute scarcity in money, okay, and with AI coming, all of this is going to accelerate. Then what? Then you see the price of Bitcoin, the very thing that everybody's paying attention to today, is just going to go like that. Okay? Absolute finality in supply, unlimited global demand coming for that supply, for that monetary instrument. Now, you can only see this if you're zoomed out. If you're paying attention to the day-to-day price movements of Bitcoin, and you're treating Bitcoin like the S&P or the ASX or Tesla or Facebook or Google or Amazon or a tech stock, if you're paying attention only to the price, then you're completely missing the point of what you hold, of what you're invested in. And this is why I don't like using the term investment, because Bitcoin is far beyond an investment. An investment implies that you put X number of dollars in and you're going to pull Y number of dollars out as a return. Okay, but Bitcoin's not like that. Once you exit the system and you exchange your Aussie dollars, or you exchange US dollars or euros or pounds or Kiwi dollars or whatever it might be, once you exchange those failing dollars, that worthless fiat currency that continues to be debased, once you exchange those dollars for sats, for Bitcoin, you've now essentially protected and preserved and stored your economic energy in an incorruptible form of money. And then your only job is to keep adding to that position and to securing it into self-custody, into cold storage, so that nobody can take it from you, that you are completely autonomously in control of that money. Portable, permissionless, with no counterparty to those savings, to that wealth. Very different to having, as it is to having your money in the bank. Very, very different to having your money in the share market. Very, very different to having your crypto stored on an exchange. Very, very different. Because in all of those cases, you have middlemen, you have counterparties you need to engage in order to access your money. When you have your savings in Bitcoin, or your capital, and it's stored in Bitcoin in self-custody, then you and only you can control that money. You and only you can access it. You don't need to engage anybody. There's no bank overseeing you and saying, please answer this questionnaire, we need to know why you're withdrawing this amount of money today, or why are you sending it to this particular bullion dealer or exchange or overseas or wherever you're looking to send your money. There's no questions to answer. So how valuable do you think that's going to be into the future? So this is where we are now. So Signal is all about paying attention to what Bitcoin really represents, not the price chart. The price chart is the least interesting thing about Bitcoin. So you have to have low time preference, because all of this is going to evolve. It's going to evolve gradually, as it's doing now, and then we're going to reach a suddenly moment. The same thing happened with the internet. The same thing happened with the iPhone. The same thing happened with Uber, Netflix, you name it. Every great technology that we all utilize and benefit from, it didn't happen overnight. There was a gradual phase, and then there was a suddenly phase. Okay? But in the background right now, all of the infrastructure is being built. If you're paying attention to this, you can see that the suddenly phase it's coming head on to us at an absolute breakneck speed. Like we're heading there. This is where we're going. This is what's next. Like, it's coming, it's imminent. So the winning strategy is to just stack sats consistently. Okay? Quieten the noise, pay attention to signal, and just stack sats. That is the winning strategy. Now, right now, today, for $1,000 US, you can buy just under 1.4 million Satoshis. $1,000 US, 1.4 million Satoshis. 1,000 Australian dollars, about 950,000 Satoshis. Okay? So right now, sats are on sale. Right now is a tremendous opportunity to add to your position, to just stack sats. Okay? Stack sats, take them into cold storage, and just continue to do this regardless of what's going on in the world and regardless of the price. Because over time, the price of Bitcoin today is not going to matter. You're going to look back at this in 5, 7, 10 years time, and the fact that Bitcoin's price today was sitting at 72,000 US dollars or 102,000 Australian dollars, it's really not going to matter. Okay, these price movements are just going to be a blip on a chart. What's really going to matter is how much Bitcoin do you own? How many Satoshis do you own? Are you in a position where you can participate in this peer-to-peer global free market? Okay, where we can see right now all of the infrastructure is being built that is going to fast track this process. Okay, this ability for us to function in this way, to transact in a decentralized peer-to-peer form of money. And you may have heard me say it before. I mean, there's many out there who believe that the way that this is going, and with AI coming at such pace, and with inflation here to stay, and with governments around the world essentially insolvent and just needing to accelerate the amount of debt in the system in order to demonetize the existing debt, none of this is going to change. And so that means that everybody who's paying attention, they have to be storing their economic energy in something that is robust, something that is incorruptible, something that is dependable, right? I would even argue something that is portable and global. And this is why people who are learning about Bitcoin now are starting to see all of the other benefits of it beyond its number go up technology, beyond its absolute scarcity. Okay, such powerful features of Bitcoin that really tie into this self-sovereignty aspect. So it's all about how much Bitcoin did you accumulate? How many sats can you accumulate this month? What's this going to look like 1, 2, 5 years from now, regardless of the price? Okay, so when you understand this and you realize that the big end of town is buying up Bitcoin, Michael Saylor's company Strategy, 3,000 Bitcoin accumulated just in the last 10 days or so for about 200 million US dollars. I mean, they're hoarding, and individuals, they're paying attention to this noise, they're giving up their Bitcoin, and we're seeing this shift from individuals over to corporations and institutions. And you know, we just don't want to be falling into that trap. So let me know what you think about all of this, but this is all about staying on path and just stacking sats. And let me know what you think about the time chain calendar as well. Is this something you're going to incorporate into your daily routine? Are you going to substitute that for looking at your app on your price chart? You know, you're going to be still fixated on your portfolio, or you're going to start paying attention to what really matters, and that is how much Bitcoin do you own and what's going on with Bitcoin under the hood. It can't be stopped, and where is this going to be in the future, and will you be a part of it? Let me know in the comments what you think. If you'd like to book a session with me, if you need my guidance, I can answer all your questions. I can put you on the right track with the simple next best steps for you based on what you need, what you're looking to do on your Bitcoin journey, and you'll see a link for that below. But other than that, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please subscribe also if you're not yet subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Okay, since you made it this far in the video, I want to quickly share 3 resources that can really help you on your Bitcoin journey. Number 1, buying Bitcoin. I personally recommend Stormrake. They're a full-service brokerage based in Melbourne. They'll help you to set up your account, to buy your Bitcoin, and even to withdraw your Bitcoin into your own private wallet. I can't recommend them highly enough. If you'd like to be connected with my own personal broker, simply email me at zt72@proton.me. Secondly, securing your Bitcoin. I personally recommend the Bitcoin Way. They are the best in the business at helping you to take full self-custody of your Bitcoin. Personally, I'm a private client of the Bitcoin Way. I've been through their entire process, and again, they're the best in the business. They offer a free 30-minute call. If you'd like to learn more about their services, simply go to thebitcoinway.com/Zane. And just finally, if you need personal guidance, I offer one-on-one calls on Zoom. It's all about helping you to gain clarity and confidence and to set up a long-term Bitcoin plan.